All right, so I don't know how to do this actually, like with the real or the normal, like the fancy techie way. So I'm gonna try to show a clip of this video. Um, and usually I use my uh, headset, my earphones that like have a built-in speaker into them. So I was gonna use that, but then I realized obviously then it won't pick up the sound um, from my laptop as well. So I don't know. I'll see how it goes. This might not pick up sound from anything, but hopefully it'll work. So this is the Vanguard, their channel and on YouTube, and so yeah, this is Gavin is gonna talk. He's the guy on the upper left, our left, and our left, his right, I guess. But anyway, all right. Just hopefully you can hear this. Maybe I'll just put it closer to, so it hopefully picks up the sound actually.
Which I didn't really know. It's a
I don't
wrestling
know what
thing.
kayfabe is.
It's a wrestling
gotcha.
thing. You'll watch. You'll have to retweet it so your people know. So they
Well, it's just dumb because, like, I mean, obviously there's this huge, like, split on the online left, at least, where people, like, either love Jimmy Dore and everything he's associated with or fucking hate it and make it their mission to, like, destroy. I think we saw that with Force the Vote, too, where a lot of people, they either agreed at first or were ambivalent, but then as soon as, Jimmy got really involved, obviously he came up with it, but as soon as he got really, like, intense about it, people decided they didn't want to have anything to do with it. But, I mean, I'm trying to put myself in that mindset.
Okay, so hopefully you could hear that. So, like, man, um, well, he just said that when Jimmy Dore ruined Force the Vote by getting involved in it. Like it was going fine until he says until Jimmy got really involved in it. And then he's like, and then he catches himself and he's like, well, I mean, I know he's the one that started it, but it was when he started getting intense about it, right? Because some supposedly when he started it, he didn't start it in an intense way. This is what must be the implication, which I find highly doubtful. I think he probably started it in an intense way and kept going at it, and then he just got shit on by a bunch of people for it, and then he would fight back. And as he said, um, you know, everybody was hurling shit at him, and um, okay, I'll try to see if I don't know. This doesn't. Hopefully, this is pointed at me. Like, hopefully, this works because I don't think I can switch. Yeah, I don't think I can flip the camera thing around. But basically, Jimmy started it, and so that's obviously nonsense. This idea that Jimmy ruined it by getting involved in it. The movement he started, it was going fine until he got involved, the founder of it. But I mean, just the whole drama, like also the what he said before that, which was um, that let's see, maybe now I'll put on the oh my god. All right. I'm highly organized here. So yeah, like when Jimmy oh yeah, he said that people on the left are either they're either pro or anti Jimmy Dore basically. And so he's just framing it as, this clash of personalities because he doesn't want to face the fact that he's both sidesing what is literally a stark contest between actual leftists and right wingers posing as leftists, people like the Young Turks. And that's it, you know, like they're trying to pretend it's just a personality game, and because they can't face the reality of it, which is that there's a stark choice and they are half-assing it, you know, they're trying to sit on the fence. And Katie Halper, you know, like does a bit too much of that as well, like trying to sit on the fence and pretend like trying to both sides everything when it's really not, you know, like even with this, honestly, even to talk about like the Young Turks thing as like an internal leftist squabble is nonsense, because you know they're not leftists. Like the Young Turks are like, they're the more blatant version of fake leftists that are really right wing. But a lot of the other people that have been attacking Force the Vote, that were attacking Force the Vote, that have attacked this Medicare for All march and have been attacking Jimmy Dore and Aaron Mate, etc. A lot of them have said that they support Medicare for All, but I think one common thread would be most of them don't. Most of them either just straight up don't, or just are not committed to it, you know. Whereas I think you'd find the people who are on the side of Force the Vote and on the side of these marches and on the side of quote unquote Jimmy Dore in this particular conflict are the people who, they're more likely to probably not have health care than all these blue check shit libs that, you know, that they're trying to pretend these blue check shit libs are just like some personality, you know, oh, it's just people who don't like, no, it's not just people who don't like Jimmy Dore. It's your blue check people that you want to be friends with, you know, that's what it is. It's the blue checks that they want to cozy up to. So it's very disingenuous, and I don't know, maybe hopefully this will be the last of their videos I watch. I just was kind of curious to check their channel just to see, did they ever apologize? Have they ever commented on all their horrendous positions and things they've said in this last like month or whatever? And this was their top video on their channel page, so it was just played automatically. And so I was just like, okay, Katie Halper, you know, like I used to follow her and I'll just see what the hell they're talking about. And, you know, I mean, they said some good things, but it got cringe fast. And this is like, Jesus, like this is a great example of that. Like he literally says, when Jimmy Dore got really involved in Force the Vote. So yeah, I'll just play it. I'll play it one more time here, just to refresh myself and y'all. But how do I do this? I'll go back. You can see there's where his stupid mouth starts moving. All right. So see if this works. All the audio.
Individuals, but you just shouldn't ever be shitting on. I'm gonna release a tweet. Release a clip later tonight from my show that I did last Thursday. And Leslie Lee's kind of what did he say? He was like, because Leslie Lee was really going after people who were going after the rally. And he said, he's like, I just don't know what's going on. Like when you're a socialist and you're like lobbying against healthcare, Medicare for All rally, like that's kayfabe. And he explained to me what kayfabe was, which I didn't really know. It's a wrestling. I don't know what kayfabe is. Yeah,
like this is like a based like thing, but he's not.
So they
Well, it's just dumb because, like, I mean, obviously, there's this huge like split on the online left, at least, where people like either love Jimmy Dore and everything he's associated with, or fucking hate it and make it their mission to like destroy you. I think we saw that with Force the Vote too,
Yeah.
where a lot of people they either agreed at first or were ambivalent, but then as soon as Jimmy got really involved, obviously he came up with it, but as soon as he got really like intense about it, people decided they didn't want to have anything to do with it. But I mean, I'm trying to put myself in that mindset, and it's like if fucking I don't know, like Sam Cedar or something, organized a march for Medicare for all, or tried to do something. I don't love Sam's.
Oh God. All right. So I just find that I just find that hilarious and in keeping with their recent behavior of just the worst takes. Like for people who apparently make a make a their business to just shit on other people's takes or critique other like bread tubers takes or whatever. Um they really like, oh, that was amazing. Jimmy Dore, why did you get involved with Force the Vote? Would have been fine. It was great before you got involved or before you got intense about it, man. I mean, don't get intense about healthcare, bro. That's cringe. Don't get intense, all right? I mean, it's just healthcare, all right? It's not a very intense thing. It's just like, healthcare. I mean, let them inject cake, right? So anyway, so I just had to pass that cringe along to you, and you're welcome. I'm gonna try to see if I can find one other thing on the YouTubes that was very cringe. Um, was when basically Bernie's uh Bernie being interviewed by Crystal Ball, and yeah, he said something that was pretty cringy as well. So, um, Crystal Ball, Bernie interview. Gotta love how all these like podcast people are now like making everything like private. I mean, I guess they all got kicked off their like big platforms or whatever, but um let's see, full extended interview. Yeah, see, they won't post the real whole interview. They're just posting like some little bullshit. Um, let's see. Crystal Ball. Not sure where this is. Like I saw Bernie. I saw a clip from that they did show on I don't think it was Crystal and Kyle and friends. I think it was the other like it was her and Sagar. Um but somehow it's not coming up. Maybe they deleted it. Crystal Ball Bernie interview, breaking points, I think is what I like had typed in originally. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, so here, Crystal Ball confronts Bernie on Biden's failed promises. So, she did, she did her kind of Mehdi Hassan fest or whatever, which was definitely better than a mainstream uh, interview, but still, yeah, I mean, you can just see the lack of like, you can see the deference in her eyes. She's just like, yes, Bernie, yes, I will not contradict you, Bernie. Um, but
When we overcome the limits of the
God,
spoken word
okay, I'm
through
not gonna.
speech to text
Oh
services,
my God,
we can
just
better
make it.
connect with what
Oh my God, I hate.
we watch.
As we mentioned before, I sat down yesterday. Senator Sanders, who obviously is a very busy man at this point, gave me 30 minutes of his time to delve deep into the reconciliation bill. That was really the thing that he was most excited about talking about. He also spent some time aggressively
Oh my
trashing the
god, I
media,
don't
which was
care.
interesting.
Just
And I
go
actually
to
think that.
the.
You know what? Climate,
Take a listen.
for whatever reason, Biden came into office and he looked around him and he said, you know what? Climate is an existential threat. We have got. Yes, the working class has been decimated.
So he said he will never ban fracking. He will never, like, they campaigned on not on protecting fracking. So that's Bernie's this is our great socialist Bernie's plan to end global warming is we're gonna frack it away. Just frack it, just frack harder until there's like no environment to destroy somehow.
For decades now, we have got to address that. So what he did, that no president did, that for decades now, has been existential threat. We have got to deal with it. Yes, the working class has been decimated for decades now. We have got to address that.
Oh, we have got to address that. So he couldn't even give us $2,000 checks that he promised. He couldn't even give us 15, he couldn't even try to give us $15 minimum wage that he promised. He couldn't even try to lower the social security age that he promised. And this is what Bernie is like happy about. Look how cucked this guy is. Like, was this guy always like this? I mean, what was it? Why was he like all, why was he willing to call out Obama? You know, is it is it because Obama's black? Like what is the, if anything, Biden is worse than Obama, but this guy is saying like, oh my god, this is the best president. I mean, he probably sucked up to Obama too a lot, but sometimes he was willing to like stand up to him. um anyway, what a piece of shit.
So what he did, that no president, you correct me if you think I'm misstating this. What he did said, well, we're going to spend 3% more here and 5% more there. But he said, these are the issues. We are going to deal with the needs of the children. We are going to deal with the needs of the elderly. We are going to deal with crime. We are going to deal with paid family and medical leave. We are going to deal with housing. Virtually every major crisis that we are facing, he is prepared to deal with. I have not seen a president in my lifetime.
Okay, so he's prepared to deal with it. That's kind of like access to healthcare, you know? Like it's not like actually having healthcare, but you know, it's a word. Even if you can't have healthcare, you could say somebody can tell you, well, you have access to healthcare, and if you're rich, you could even have it. So like, you know, I mean, clearly Biden is doing the opposite of all these things, has done the opposite of all these things for the last 40 years in the government, including, you know, I don't know how many, 20 years with Bernie. Um, so Bernie knows better. He knows much, much, much better than this. So this is shit. This is corruption. Let's see what else this clown has to say.
Time who has done that. Am I wrong?
Am I
President
wrong?
in my lifetime, he is prepared to deal with. I have not seen a president in my lifetime who has done that. Am I wrong?
I see that perspective.
Look at that face. He's so out of touch. Like somehow, like just between the time that well, maybe he's always been this out of touch, but certainly since from the time that he dropped out of the race, he's just become this clownish guy who's just like, I mean, it was like he really thought that would go over well, you know? Like I guess he mistook her for a worse shitlib than she is, basically, because he's like, yeah, what, right? And she's like, you know, I mean, I want to agree with you and stuff because I'm, you know, for access journalism or for whatever, but you know, she likes to like shit on Jimmy Dore sometimes. She likes to play that moderate, you know, both sidesism on this type of stuff. But even for her, this is like cringe. So she realizes how badly it's gonna play, and he does not. And so she's like, let me spin this in my head somehow.
But I also see a president who's willing to let a lot of those agenda items be killed by the filibuster and the parliamentarian.
Well, but again, I don't want to defend him. I think the point you made a few minutes ago is exactly right. In this critical moment, when we're dealing with the future of the planet, when we're dealing with the future of democracy, you know what? I think majority should rule and not the. I believe that strongly. But don't think that he can snap his fingers, no matter what he may or may not believe, and make things happen. All right, there are senators.
There are certain things he could do, though, through executive, for example, canceling student debt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There are things
Bernie
he can
thinks we're
Legalizing
stupid,
marijuana,
you know?
he could potentially do
Yes.
through an executive
Yep.
order. And so there hasn't been a willingness, even though he says, yes, I support the $15 minimum wage, yes, I support the PRO Act, to use all the tools that are at his disposal to actually make those things happen.
You're absolutely sure of that?
Is that fair?
No. I mean, in other words, you do not know about the discussions that he has with people who walk into his office.
Did you see this shit? This might as well be a right winger. Like, he's attacking her for just being a, somewhat stalwart progressive and like stating basic facts that Biden has not lifted a finger for anything actually progressive. And he's like, listen, lady, pointing his finger out. It's just like so terrible and cringe. Like, kind of almost makes you glad that he lost, and maybe we will find real real progressive movement that hopefully won't be like obsessed with some leader that's gonna, that everything's gonna hinge on. Anyway, like, this is just so terrible. Just his whole behavior to her. You can see, look at her. Her eyes are closed and she's just like kind of stunned and like, I don't know. I think my phone might cut off this video in a second, but I'll just play a little more of this and see what more cringe they have in store.
No, it's wrong to assume that when you're dealing.
Oh, just look at this. Like, it's wrong to assume. Listen, I'm from the Senate. I know how things go, little lady. You mere plebeians have no business talking about government affairs. You simply don't understand. That's basically what he's saying. Like, you have no business like even trying to judge a politician because you don't I'm a senator and you're not a senator. Therefore, you have no way of knowing what goes on in government. That's like what Bernie's saying right now. So just in case that
With
was
a United States senator who does not want to end the filibuster, that he can go in there and say, hey, I want you to do that. No. So don't give the president.
Although he could do what you proposed when you were asked on the trail, how would you deal with Senator Manchin? You said, I go to West Virginia. I'd do the rally.
Yeah.
I'd call him out.
Right. I mean, there are things you could do. All that I'm saying, do not minimize. I mean, and I don't want to get into personalities, but
Sure.
any member of the United States Senate has the power to kill this thing. And to think that the president alone can change that is not 100% correct.
Sure. But there are executive actions that he could take
All right,
on
look,
student debt and other things that he could do. We can agree on
I
that,
am not,
right?
yes.
Yes.
Joe Biden and I, marijuana, I think the war on drugs has been just a disaster for this country, for the African American community. I think it should end. I think marijuana should be legalized. You're right. We do that fairly simply. But so we have differences. But on this piece of legislation, at the end of the day, if we are successful, this will be a major, major achievement.
So
Interesting, Krystal.
yeah, so we
Question a little bit.
couldn't really disagree.
All right. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'll give Bernie some credit that like she said, he didn't disagree in the end, or well, I don't really know what the end of it is because she didn't post the whole interview, but yeah, I mean, I guess he kind of conceded a lot of the points, but after being a total ass and a jerk and like saying, you don't know. I mean, maybe that's just his style. Like maybe he's not trying to be brash about it, whatever. But like ultimately what he's saying is terrible, like, oh, you can't judge what goes on in the government. Like we see clearly that he's one of the most right-wing presidents that we've had in a while, and well, he's at least as right wing as like all the other presidents. And this guy's blowing, Bernie's blowing smoke up our ass and telling us we don't know about the Senate and this and that. Like, utter nonsense. Totally disgusting. And I'm disgusted with people who defend him for stuff like that. Like, I honestly don't think though that people who are going to defend him and defend Biden at this point are going to be assets to any kind of movement, but such is the such. All right, well, that's hopefully this video worked, and solidarity. Take care.